all sure how many people are actually watching these videos. Well, actually, I know how many people are watching them. And that's not a lot. My little shorts, YouTube shorts, have been getting 5, 6, 7, 800 hits, 1,000 hits, which is pretty cool. But my regular videos haven't been getting too many, but I guess I got to work up to it. So, whatever. I'm not really complaining. But snow is falling outside, so I'm going to be doing this while hoping to be able to get home later without the snow being too deep. Anyway, just ranting a little bit here. So, as you know, I've been working on this Hudson, K325 Hudson. The K means K for knuckle, because 52, this is a 1952 model. 1952, they started going with knuckle couplers. And as far as I know, the Hudson and the Northerns were the first engines to get knuckle couplers, and that was in 1952. But I was looking at this earlier, I noticed something interesting. Now, I don't know how they made these, if they did pre-production runs or how that works like cars. You know, sometimes a lot of cars will come out actually half a year before the actual year. If you know anything about Flyer, I'm not sure if you can see this. A lot of times Flyer has the date stamp in the shell. Well, this says December. And I'm looking at it a little bit earlier, and it looks like it says 51. I'm not sure if I can get this zoomed in right to see it. But anyway, so is this actually, that's actually made in December of 51, like pre-production year, maybe before the 52 model year? I don't know. Anybody knows the answer, let me know if they made these ahead of time. Because it sure looks like that says December 51 in there. And so, back to the video at hand here. Got my trusty Radio Shack pencil style solder and iron. I miss Radio Shacks immensely. Wish they were still around. I hate ordering stuff online and waiting, but that's the world we live in, unfortunately, these days. This was from one of my more local Radio Shacks. I think I was one of the last customers, and I think this was one of the last items on the shelf that day. Went in and bought it. So, anyway. I guess I'm at the point now where I'm going to take this apart. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take a picture, which I did, or you're going to want to take notes, draw pictures, or whatever, or research it online first. Luckily, for when it comes to Flyer, especially these steam engines, the post-war steam engines, the wiring on them is not all that different, really, from each other. Most of it's the same. At one point, some of them went to a 5-wire, which was this wire here. It came off and went straight inside to the and bypassed the plug. Went in by itself. Basically made the headlight and the smoke unit work a little bit better with the 5th wire, rather than the smoke unit sharing this plug wire that goes into the brushes. The one side had its own wire to feed it straight into it. So that made it a little bit easier. Sometimes also later on, ones that weren't 5-wire, people modified. I don't know if this one was modified, but this looks like a little piece of speaker wire. It's clear wire. So this may have been modified later on as a 5-wire. I don't know. But anyway, that's what a 5-wire was. There's usually a 4-pin, 4-wire setup, but they bypassed the plug so it wouldn't share power for the brush, and it would run up to make the smoke unit better and headlight. So I had the wiring diagram for this, which, like I said, it's pretty much the same as most post-war steam engines. So I feel pretty okay with taking this apart. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this, as I've said many times before, this they call it the air chime whistle, which is the dumbest sounding thing I've ever heard. And this is ruined. It's got a hole in it, one wire's, whatever. So this is going to come off, and never see the light of day again on this engine. So this, slowly I'm wiring it. Never worked on an engine with an air chime in it before. And this wire here, I don't know, this is a capacitor or a diode. This looks like one's a resistor, one's a diode, I guess. I don't know. But this wire here went to the one terminal pickup, probably either for ground or juice. I'm not sure which one the back truck is. But the other one goes up here to the top of the reverse unit. So I'm going to get this out of the way first. There that is. I'm not sure what else wired up to what, but there it is. And gone. I'm going to break this wire off the reverse unit wire so that they're not sharing. Well, there we go. That's gone. This is gone. So now, I cheated and I checked ahead of time. Magic of television, they say. Got what size screw, what size little nut driver I need here. There's one little, I think, maybe two. I think there's only one small nut right here on the bottom that holds the speaker in. And I think that's all it is to it. We'll find out as we go. I also had to put a disclaimer in here. I feel sometimes I don't like acting like a know-it-all or doing things I shouldn't do. I like to stay in my lane, as they say. Because I don't claim to be an expert on this by any means. But like I stated last time, I got into, well, I was into HO for years. Then about 5 years ago, I got into Flyer, and it's just my newest piece of equipment from '56. Flyer needs work, and Flyers need attention. And I met a couple guys online who I sent some stuff to, and they were great guys. They did great work. No complaints at all, except I had some stuff get damaged in shipping, and with the cost of shipping, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. I decided I'm going to work on these things myself. So this is a repeat. I think I just repeated this from last week's video. But I got pretty decent at general maintenance, cleaning wheels, lubricating, minor adjustments, and that was okay. But I needed to learn how to really fix these. So a few months back, or about a year ago, less than a year ago, I decided I'm going to start tearing into these and fixing them. Anyway, long story. So now this looks like an insulator piece of paper, which I don't think I'm going to need because that ain't going back in, so that can go over here. Not that it makes a difference, but I'm going to weigh this, which weighs almost nothing. I'm going to compensate that extra weight in the back here, since it doesn't have a counterweight like most locomotives do. I'm going to compensate with some washers or something. Let's take a screw through here and screw a little stack of washers just to compensate for the weight. Not that I don't know if it would make a difference or not, but... Alright, so what I always like to do is I like to get all the wires from the reverse unit to the chassis off first. So that one's already off. So if you look up front here, there's got to be a wire. The one wire comes off the plug. One of them comes off the reverser. Forgot my little flashlight. And I'm wearing my safety glasses. Yeah, I know. It seems a little bit overboard wearing safety glasses for soldering, but one time I was unsoldering something. I forget what I was working on one day, and I pulled wire up, and a piece of hot solder flung up and went right next to my eye on my face. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wear safety glasses to avoid hot solder flinging in my face. So I think if I just heat this up, this should take off. Look here. Alright, so the only wire going to this is for the plug. I don't know if it's because some of this solder has been on here for so long, or they just used different solder back then, but boy, some of this old solder sometimes is really hard to get off. You gotta really heat it. It's probably asbestos solder. Based lead. I don't know. This is really, taking a lot of heat. Well, I might come back to that because I'm going to redo this. I'm looking to get a new plug. This is going to basically get all unsoldered. So I'm going to take the... What am I going to do here? All right, I'm going to take this off of here. Off the fingerboard. Alright, so that's off of there. Now I'm going to take these other wires off the lower fingerboard. So I'm going to replace this. I found them online. I'm going to put a whole new harness on here. Because when I go to solder this harness back on, I can't even tell unless I take it apart. And it's old and moldy. So I just want to replace this harness. So I think one more watt. One little bit of solder here on the fingers. I gotta work on the lighting in this place. I have a little headlamp I was going to wear today and forgot it at home. So there we go. Alright. Now, harness is off. One thing I gotta do yet, I'll leave this on. That ain't gonna hurt nothing. Just gotta get this solder loosened up here in this truck to get this wire from the reverse unit and the wire from the plug off, because I tell you, this is a thick solder here. They definitely made things better back in the day, even as far as soldering goes. I can't get this. I may actually just clip it off. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. Yeah, I'm just gonna take it. I was gonna take it off. I was gonna wiggle it around and up and pop these wires off, and then I'll resolder it. And that's gonna get. This is getting replaced anyway. See, the reason I want to replace it is it's kind of like it's got some type of funk on it. All the wires are the same cloth colored, and I can't tell. I'd have to take this off anyway and trace the wires. And if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to replace it. So that's gone. Okay, so that's there. This is off. All right, so that's all off. I will leave this wire here. I'm not exactly sure, because this wire goes here for the pickup for the rear, for the one side of the truck pickup. This wire, I'm not sure what this is, but it's coming off. This might have been something for the horn or the whistle. So that's coming off. So basically, this wire goes to here. This wire goes to the front, which gives it its continuity. And then this is the fifth wire, like I said, the custom added fifth wire. This may be factory, I don't know. It just doesn't look like a factory wire. And then you have the 4 pins for the plug. 2 go here, 1 goes up here, 1 goes down here. That's how you wire that up. I couldn't tell you which wire goes where, but I know 2 go to the fingers, 1 goes to the top finger, and 1 goes here for juice for continuity pickup. So while I'm at it, trusty flathead. I didn't even look because, as I said before, if you're working on an old Flyer, unless somebody has changed it, it's almost a certainty that if you got a screw on it, that screw is going to be a flathead. Flathead was the standard screw for many years. Before that, they had square heads, which was way before that. That was the standard. It started out with square-headed nuts that were actually blacksmithed out back in the earliest days of them. Not Flyer, I'm talking, I guess industrial age. Or the gilding. I don't know what I'm saying. Alright. That's the thing with me. Sometimes I like to talk to hear myself talk. Been accused of it already. So here's the reverse unit. First unit is out. Again, a little trick I learned. And this isn't just for trains or flyer stuff. This is for anything in general. I learned it with the cars, working on cars. If you take it apart and you take the screw out, or a nut, or a bolt, and you can put it back where you came from and it won't be in the way, do it. Because you will always tell yourself, oh, I'll remember that, guys. And let me tell you, most of the time, you won't. Alright, so now, we can see this. I gotta get some better camera setups better for this so I can see what I'm seeing, see what you're seeing. So I sprayed this with some CRC last week. What happens is when you turn the juice off or on, it sends juice through here and it cycles through. There's a barrel, and the barrel makes contact with the fingers, which determines their direction. You can test them to see how loose they are, how well they work. There's a little trigger back here, and you can cycle through. So it goes up. This doesn't seem like it wants to cooperate all the time. I don't know what the deal is. Sometimes it's the finger pressure on the fingers. Sometimes it's just dirty. Sometimes it's the bar that lifts up. But I don't know, this seems to cycle through okay. I'm going to probably still take it apart and clean it real good. But, so what you do is, I'm not going to do it now, but if you want to take the fingerboards out, there's little pins, little tabs here that hold the fingerboards in. I like to take needle nose pliers. I like to hold them sideways, and then you just straighten the pin out, and then the board pops out. And then when you put them on, you just take it, pull the pin sideways again. You don't want to go too much because you could either break the pin or break the board. It's just a little circuit board material, so it could break the board if you go too hard. Like I've said before, these are, this is a 52, so if I do my math, this is what, almost 73 years old. These things are old. Some of them didn't live a good life, some lived good lives, but some didn't. So you want to be careful with these when you work on them. And the thing I'm trying to teach myself is when you work on them and they don't, whatever you do doesn't quite seem to work, you shouldn't get all that pissed about it because it's an old toy, which aren't really toys anymore. Anyway, you can see the chassis is, like the rest of it, pretty dirty. So I will clean this the way I clean the other stuff. I'll probably spare you guys the boredom. If you care anyway. I'll probably spare you guys. You've already seen me scrubbing the other stuff, so I'll probably spare you the details, and I won't video it. Not that it matters, but anyway. So I think the next step from here, which I might show, is I might try to do the side rods and some of the valve gear and all, which is really dirty and crusty. I might try to clean some of that stuff up. Once that's clean, we're getting there. We're getting somewhere. So I guess once I start cleaning up the rest of the metal work on it, this has been a slow process. I've been waiting, basically been waiting to videos before I do any work on it. I think what I'm going to do then, once I'm going to take these side rods off too, clean these side rods. Once they're clean, I'm going to bolt these back on, make sure everything else is clean and ready to go. And then I'm going to clean up the motor a little bit. Motor parts need some cleaning. And I might start putting the chassis back together. I got to get new brushes. Well, I actually need a spring. The one spring took a trip on me. I don't know where it went. It's probably in outer space. Forgot to hold on to it. I pulled the holder off and it gone. So anyway, So, yeah, thanks. Anyway, I guess that's enough for one day. And thanks for checking it out. See you next time.